So, have you ever thought of making 1 crore in a day or a 2 crores in a day in a single day? Right? It sounds like a really big task, but in reality, is absolutely possible. Today, we have a guest who has already made it, and he has made a record of making around 2 crores in a single day in cash collected. That is amazing, right? He is very young and he is a very energetic person that I've met in a very long time, and a challenge geek just like me from India. So I'm pretty excited to get him on this podcast today. And he has been doing challenges for a very long time now, 2.5 years being in the game, has completed over 25 to 30 challenges for himself and his clients, and has generated more than 42 crores, which is around close to $5 million in sale in revenues from challenges. Okay, so it's going to be deep today. I'm going to be very enthusiastic. So please bear with me throughout the podcast, and I can't wait any longer. So let's give a warm welcome to Shubh Jain. Thank you so much, Shubh, for joining us over here on the podcast. It's great to
Course.
have you
Thanks for having me, man. So nice to see you.
here. Absolutely. How are you doing today? You feeling good?
All good, man. All good. A warm, good weather.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, Shubh. I'm very excited to know how did you end up with challenges? I mean, out of a million other ways of making money online, how come challenges interested you, and how come you started with challenges?
Yeah, so the story goes back in those days where we used to do software launches. I was not really from
Mm-hmm.
the info world, but so to say from the software world,
Mm-hmm.
where we used to build softwares and used to work with someone, and then I ended up being a business partner with them and all these stuff. We built a lot of softwares. We did a lot of launches, so to say, not challenges, but we used to do webinars,
Right, right.
multiple webinars over days and stuff. Then we used to do all these really cool $1 million days and $1 million in 6 days and stuff like that. And
Wow.
yeah, and we used to do repitches and the next day and all these things, and to really sell info products. So I saw, I think someone did like 60 million bucks in couple of weeks with challenges, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And then I started studying about it, and it really makes sense, the whole science and the psychology and the art behind the whole challenge, how it works, why it works, why people do what they do and stuff. So it's really cool. And yeah, and it also kind of does everything that a person should do to sell high ticket, like builds the trust, builds the authority. um, it builds reciprocity, of course. It gives them a belief and trust that you are who you say you are. And of course, at
Mm,
the end, you
right.
give an offer, a large chunk of the audience goes and like takes up on it. So it's a good cash machine as well for your business.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. I mean, the part when you mentioned that people really see through you in those 5 days that you spend with them, right? And absolutely. I mean, I understood the concept of when you mentioned that launch to scale. That's your company is about, right? So can you tell me a little bit about launch to scale? How is it exactly that you're able to launch in scale with challenges or webinars that you do basically to like launch
Yeah, so
softwares or coaching
it's
programs?
really more than challenges. I treat it as a sales process that's so robust, because even
Mm,
companies like Tesla, companies like Apple, if you see from the 10,000 feet perspective, all they do is challenges and events,
mm,
which builds massive hype, which builds massive
mhm.
buzz. All they do is go there, and they don't sell the features, they sell the future and all these stuff. And
Right.
at the end, they do the offer, right? They give the offer, and it just sells out, right? All the So that's where, like, I started studying about it, I started geeking about it, and this is where launch at scale came into the play. And we did back-to-back challenges. Just I started in India. We did a first test. We did like, I thought it wouldn't work, and we just did it normally, and we ended up doing like 70 lakhs cash collected in just one day with that whole thing. And in fact, couple of hours, then I did it again, then again, again. It just works then. And this is how
Mm,
it came.
wow.
And a lot of coaches and all these people, these guys are very much sick and tired of these complex funnels, right?
Mm,
Everyone's coming out with any, like, oh, implement this funnel or low ticket or VSLs or
right,
whatever it is. It all works, but it's so complex these days, right, to getting it to work, and like ads and all these things. So
right.
what the easiest and the fastest and the simplest way to make a lot of money in a little amount of time? So that comes down to challenges, right? And
Mm,
we also do challenge launches challenges as a separate, and we also treat it as a product launch,
Product
in
launch,
which
right,
our unique mechanism, we call it as a reverse funnels, right?
right.
Where we flip the entire value ladder and stuff. We just directly sell high ticket on the front end, and this is how it actually born and came into the play.
Wow, very interesting. I mean, the way you started was exactly how I started as well personally. Like we saw Tony Robbins do an 80 million like event, Own Your Future challenge, right? Where he made around $80 million, and then that's when I started geeking out about challenges, like understanding why it worked. So I want to know your perspective. Like, why do you think it really works? I mean, what is the psychology behind it, and why do people buy could possibly buy a high ticket program or a software by the end of just 5 days of spending time with you?
Yeah, so first thing is, in a webinar, these days, again, I talk about it a lot, is everyone is doing perfect webinar scripts and all these things.
Right,
So
right.
it's not bad or something, it's really good, but the industry is kind of jaded. If you see, like, every other guy is now having a perfect webinar script and stuff. So when you enter the webinar, like, even the grandma knows that, though, there's three secrets and there's all these things and there's this big offer stack and stuff, and you couldn't really like build that authority and build that value that you want to build in a typical 90-minute period, or a 2 hour period.
Mm,
When it comes to a webinar,
mm,
they're great, but if you want to sell low tickets, right? But if you really want to sell like really expensive high ticket offers, international, India, doesn't matter, I think doing it over a webinar kind of becomes difficult. And
mm,
second thing is one-on-ones, right? If you understand what happens with one-on-ones is, you one-on-ones works crazily. I know people who are doing multiple crores a month just with one-on-ones, but it works really well if you have a sales team,
right,
right? And
right.
if you just sit on sales calls, max you can do like 4 calls a day, which goes to like 8 hours or something. And you're capped at four
You
calls
have
a
to-
day. That
yes,
means like you're
absolutely.
capped at what, some x amount of calls every month, 4 into 30 is some 120 calls a month or something, right? So you're capped over there. In that, even if you close it, like, let's say you're really good at closing, you converted 15%, at
Hmm.
one-on-ones you get like 12 to 15 sales. It's a lot of sales, but you cap yourself at 15 sales, right?
Right,
So there comes a big team and sales team and all these stuff, and really converting on one-on-one in cold markets becomes really difficult. I know
right,
people are doing good stuff with that as well, but that's the downside with one-on-ones, because it requires like a big team and intensive and
right,
cash intensive and stuff. But when it comes to challenges, what happens is, now you build the value and the authority and the trust that you want to build over the period of the 5 days or the 3 days or whatever you want
mm,
to do. So I
mm,
feel like there are four reasons why people buy anything. First, or four reasons why people don't buy anything is because, first, they don't trust in the speaker, they don't trust in the path, that your path is the best path to get
right,
the success. They don't
right.
trust the product, or they don't trust themselves.
Mm,
So the trust triangle that we have, the four parts of trust that any user should have, right? Again, the speaker, the path, the product, and fourth, the most important, themselves. If they
themselves.
have all these four things, they have to buy.
Right.
And if you see the challenge, it kind of demolishes all the four pieces in such a smooth way. It also builds reciprocity, because now you're giving so much value.
Mm,
It builds enough trust, credibility, because you cannot bullshit for 5 days or 3 days. People will see you through, people will quit. And the beautiful part is, if someone's joining day one, if they don't like you, they won't join day two.
right,
So,
absolutely.
it's so transparent over here, and it's not really like a pushy marketing, so to say, but it's more of a pull marketing where people really want to work with you and stuff.
Mm,
And this is why I feel it works really well, because it does, like, give you attention, it gives you credibility, it gives you trust, it gives you focus. And focus builds attention, attention gets you the sale, and it makes the whole sales process effortless. And that's why I even say, like, even people, like, we have killer case studies, like a lady, she did a challenge for the first time, she ended up doing 70 lakhs in deposits, which is
wow,
intense, like, on her first try. And another guy who has never done any webinars, anything in his life, I think he spent like 20 grand on ads, 20,000 rupees on ads, he ended up making like 3 lakhs cash, which is crazy,
wow.
right? So
Yeah,
all these things, like, you really don't need to be like a world class at sales, but of course you need to know principles and a little bit
principles.
persuasion skills that we have, and really go ahead and be different from the market, because again, you don't want to be another person doing the same another thing, like perfect webinar or something. and just getting the same average medium results that other people are getting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love that. Love that. Love to see that you have been following some of the great minds in the internet marketing. Like you know about perfect webinar scripts and all of that. How does that work and everything? And also, I mean, when you mentioned, I remember this quote from Pedro Adao, who is known as the challenge guy, right, in the international market, and he said this in a webinar: you overcome objections or obstacles, but in a challenge you just demolish all of them. You just crack open all of that and you destroy each belief in each day of the challenge, right? And that's how people literally see you breaking every single thing every single day, so that by the end of the challenge they do not have any other excuse left and the only thing that's left is to buy from you. So I mean, like I'm absolutely unfamiliar with how the Indian market of challenges really work. Is it? Can you tell me a little bit about like how does challenges really work in India? Is it about, or launches really work in India? Is it like you have a high ticket offer that you sell towards the end of it, but you're doing a free challenge and you're simply running marketing to it, bring as many people as you would want? Is it more about the quantity of people coming into your challenge, or is it more about like you bring a small group of people, you engage them in, and then you sell a high ticket offer?
Yeah, so let's get back to principles again. If you see, the whole thing comes down to, if you have the right audience inside the room, listening to the
Right,
right message,
absolutely.
and if you have the right offer,
Absolutely.
you'll end
Mhm.
up making so much money that you can't handle, right? So
Right.
it comes down to three things, right? So let's break it down. Right audience. If you have the right audience sitting inside the room,
Mhm.
if you give the right message that they want to listen,
Listen to, right.
something that's there in the back of the head that they don't want to shout it out loud, but if you actually put it in front of them. And third
Mm.
thing, if you have the right offer for them. Now, not everyone knows that this offer is the right offer for them or
Uh,
not, but if you have the
right,
right
right.
offer in front of them, this is a three part where we crack the PMF, that's the product market fit. And
Mm.
once this
Right.
is done, everything is irrelevant now. You can bring
Mm.
10,000 people and you can crush it. You can bring 50 people and crush it. I know we do like insane conversions, like 40-50% closes in our challenges and stuff, in my clients' challenges and stuff. You have like 50 people in the room, and we walk away with like 20 high ticket sales out there, right? So again,
Wow.
it also converts with like 10,000 people in, and it also converts with like 50 people in, because it doesn't matter the quantity quality game. It really matters like how well are you marketing enough to get the
Mm.
right kind of people inside your offers, or right kind of people
Mm.
inside your challenges. Because you can have the best pitch in the world, best message in the world, best offer in the world, but if the audience is not
It's
what
wrong.
you want, is not the right audience, you will never make it work, right?
Right.
Even I've had this thing, like I've had experiences with myself where I was running behind like false vanity metrics, and I ended up getting a wrong audience inside, and I just gave the
Mm.
best pitch of my life, and it was like, holy fuck, it didn't work. And I'm like, I just performed at my peak level and it didn't work, because of course I had the wrong audience inside and stuff, right?
Right.
So yeah, it doesn't really matter in the quantity quality. It all matters is like, if you can get the right people inside
Right.
the room,
Mm.
can be 100,
Mm.
10,000, or a million, it'll
Mm.
convert, and it'll convert very well.
Right. Wow. That's really powerful. So so how do you make sure that you bring the right people in the
Yeah.
like in the room with challenges? Is it about just marketing with the right messages, advertisements, or do you use any other way?
Yeah, so there are a lot of ways actually, and first, it really starts from the start, right? You do not want to like use like bullshit headlines like 7 figures in 7 days, or like
I know.
how I
I
made
know,
one
right?
crore, how I made 1 crore in 22 days or something like that. If you do that, of course you're gonna attract those so-called wannabe people, wannabe
Mm.
audience, right? Oh, I wanna be the coach, I wanna be the person who can do this, or whatever it is, and you'll really attract people who are like with the wrong mindset. And if you see, like all we do in the challenge is like, we try to teach them, like we don't teach the concept and stuff, we really go into like we teach them how to think.
Mm.
What do you want to think? Who's the person that you'll become to get this offer? So we really make them comfortable with buying in the overall process, right? So we really, it starts from the start with the hook that you bring people with in. And a lot of people use like these flashy headlines and all these things. Yeah, I mean, uncover the 7 figure secrets and all these things. It's really not good. The way I approach it right from the start is, you need to solve a problem. right?
Right.
This is the one of the most important things. And if I go to any coach, if I ask them like, hey, what's the problem you're helping them solve, they're like, oh, I help working professionals lose 10 kgs of weight. I'm like, hey, that's not a problem, that's a desired state.
Right.
That's a state, that's
Wow.
not a problem. What's the
Mm-hmm.
problem you're helping them solve? The problem you're helping them solve is they are overweight. They don't have respect in the society. they
Mm.
can't they can't enjoy their lives because they're overweight. They don't have a good sex life. They don't have good
Mm.
marriage life. They don't have a million things, right? So they don't have the
Right.
respect that they want and all these stuff. So we really lead with the problems, because if you talk about the
Mhm.
problem, only the people who are facing the problems are going to come inside, right?
Wow.
And I
Wow.
hear this lot of myths I hear this lot of myth that, oh, like people who are really busy and people who are really rich and all these stuff, the creamiest audience, they don't attend challenges and stuff. Yes, they don't attend it because you don't have something that is valuable for them,
For them.
but you have
Yes.
something valuable for everyone apart from them. So that's why you're not getting the right audience inside, right? And
Right.
it really starts from the ad itself or the email itself. What are you sharing? What are you saying to bring them in, to bring that click? So a lot of
Mm.
people run behind cheaper cost per leads, cheaper cost per clicks. I don't care about cost per clicks, brother, because I want the cost per click to be as expensive as it can, because I want it to be the perfect lead. Because I know I
Right.
don't mind if I can have 50 people in the room, I'll walk up with more money, or 500 people who are wrong audience. So I'm not
Right.
really running behind like the quantity, but it's really about if I can pull the right audience inside, right?
Mm.
And that's it really starts from the ad. You talk about the problems, and a lot of people are like, do you want to make this much in this much time? And that's why you get all these like bad quality leads, versus if you lead with the problem, right?
Mm.
Are you overfat? Are you obese and you don't have respect from your kids, from your wife, from the society, and from everyone in the office? You're working hard, but you're not getting results. You are trying and you think every single day that you want to go to gym and you want to lose the weight, that so you look good, but you are unable to.
Mm.
Now, a lean guy won't enter this challenge. Of course not. Now, the
Right.
kind of people you get
Absolutely.
are people who are obese, people who are fat, and all these stuff, right? So it really comes down to messaging.
Mm.
And yeah, then second thing comes down to the hooks again. Like in the
Look.
pages, we have add a lot of things that it's only for this people. If you're not under this category, do not apply. And we really have disqualifications and stuff, that if someone selects the pointers that we don't really cater to, they get disqualified automatically with marketing softwares and stuff like that. Then it
Mm.
comes to thank you page, we really tell them upfront that, hey, you know what, we're going to give you an offer. And I really don't want the kind of audience which thinks like, oh, giving offer is bad, because hey, bro, I'm not here to teach you that selling is good. That's how you're going to make money. I'm not here to teach you that. Come on, like at least I need the audience who has an offer, who is comfortable with selling. If not comfortable, at
Mm.
least they know they want to sell, but they can't sell because of XYZ
Right.
reason. I don't want
Wow.
to keep convincing you that, oh, I might have an offer at the end and I want to trick you into that. So we are
Mm.
really pushing that marketing in all of our emails and sequences and everything. We clearly mention that we're going to give you an offer at the end of this day. This is going to be so cool. You might want to join it. And we really email out that, hey, we're giving out the offer. Come on, hop on, whatever it is. And a big chunk of the audience just comes for the offer again and stuff. But we really are open in the marketing space. We don't really hide around that, oh, we have an offer, because of course we do. Like,
Mm.
you're running ads and you don't sell,
Right. Right.
sense, right? So
Mhm.
uh, these are the things that we kind of do. And yeah, man, these are the couple of the things that we pull around to get the right quality audience in.
Wow, wow. I love that. I love that. I mean, you're so like how you think, whereas the experience that you have gotten in the past few years, it's been amazing. I mean, that is one of the biggest challenges that people face while they are marketing online, not just for challenge, but any kind of other marketing. The reason people do not buy is that the wrong people are in the room. And no matter what you try to sell them, as hard as you try to sell them, they're never going to purchase, right? So thank you so much for sharing all of that. I mean, you have worked with some of the big names in India with doing 5 day challenges, right? And you have gotten some really, really good results, like the 2 crore in 1 day. So tell us a little bit more about that. That is very fancy to look at, but it's more about how much time it took to build that. right? And was it the audience that came in first, was very nurtured, was already knew the coach before, or how was that like, or was it personal to you, or what was that about?
Yeah, it's kind of both. It works with warm audience, it crushes it with warm audience, but we also made
Right,
it work with cold audience. I really didn't have any audience, I really didn't have a million person email list and stuff. We ran ads, we started with ads, and again, it's about the getting the right people in, right? So yeah, the launch that we did for majority of our clients, I think we've done like, I've stopped the count, man. 35, 40 plus challenges till now, in just last 1 year, so to say. Uh, Majority, like I would say 50% would be warm audience because they already have an email list and stuff, and
mm-hmm.
they're just not hitting that. And there's a big chunk of money that they're losing, and it's a really big chunk of money that we kind of help them recoup and stuff. And then once that is done, we turn on the acquisition engine and we scale it with ads. So
Mm,
we do it with warm ones and we turn on the ads and we scale it with cold traffic then. So that's the overall process. We don't just stop with warm or just don't stop
wow,
with cold. We really have that whole sync and the whole process where if we are done with warm, we just take that same IP that we built and we put it on cold ads and we scale it. And numbers are pretty much same. It doesn't vary a lot because, of course, it's a customer journey that we're getting them through, right?
right,
Um,
right.
so and it really comes down to how you can have a high ticket offer and how you can sell it to a lot of people at the same time who are looking for it, right? If you have 500 people who are looking to solve the problem that they already have,
Mm,
listen to my
mm,
word, right? Looking to solve the problem that they already have, not people who have the problem, but people who
right.
are looking to solve the problem that they already have because they're
Right.
already
Wow.
in the verge to finding the solution to
Right.
that.
Uh-huh.
So when we
Makes sense.
get those kind of people in, let's say we got 1,000 people in who are looking for solutions for, let's say, lead generation. They're unable to find leads.
Mm,
And they get
mm,
inside our challenge. And over the 3 days, I really prefer 3 day challenges over 5 days, but it works well for me. So what we do over the 3 days is we insert beliefs and insert new identities we want inside them and stuff, and we remove the old identities and the way of their thinking, and we really shift their mindset and stuff over the course of 3 days, and a big chunk of the portion of the room ends up buying because they were already looking for the solution. Just that now they know how costly will it be for them to not solve that, or how
mm.
costly will it be for them to just elongate this problem, how stupid it will be for them to go to any other person in the market rather than me or the
Wow.
person who's doing the challenge and stuff.
Wow, wow, wow. Love that, love that. I'm actually looking at different ways I can use it personally as well. So, I mean, I love what you're sharing, Shubh. I mean, this is so exciting for me. And this is what you have been doing for a while now. So amazing. Congratulations,
Yeah,
man.
it's
You're
been
doing really good
five
work.
years now 4.5 5
5
years now.
years. Wow, wow, amazing, amazing. Again, thank you so much for sharing that. And recently, what happened was I did a challenge for my own self in India. Like this was the first time I ever landed in. I went on to advertise, and we got around 20 people to register for it, right? And one of the biggest challenges that people had when they joined the challenge was the belief that they could sell high ticket offers directly to an Indian completely cold audience or even a bit warm audience. So, I mean, how do you make people break that belief that they can actually sell high ticket offers in India and people would actually go ahead and buy it if given an opportunity? Or what are your thoughts?
Okay, so I'm going to dive a little advanced over here. It all comes down to like persuasion, NLP, and all these stuff.
Right.
So beliefs are here, but a step below beliefs are identities.
Hmm.
The reason they believe XYZ is because they have set of fears, set amount of worries, set amount of distractions in their life that is stopping them to believe that they can achieve this outcome.
Hmm.
For example, a lot of people have this thing called fear of success, right?
Right. Right.
If I make it happen, this will happen or that will happen.
Hmm.
Or like, I don't think I can make a crore in a day, right? Like, outright, this is the first thing that they think. If I ask someone like, hey, you want to make a crore in a day? Yeah, but I don't think I can, because they don't believe they're
Right.
capable enough to make a crore in a day. So the first part itself is that. So when they feel they're not capable enough, no matter how good you're at whatever, you can't make them converted, and you can't have the insert the identity inside them that you can. So it
Mm,
really starts from the first step, go a little bit deeper than beliefs. It's identities. It's who they
mm,
are. It's
mm,
who their past was, right?
mm,
And it goes into a lot of therapy and stuff as well, because you really talk like that in challenges and stuff. So we really go into identity level, DNA level, right? And we shift it directly from there. So they don't
mm,
ever get the objection, or we don't never get this thing that, oh, I'm not capable enough to charge a high ticket. Why would people pay me? To
mhm.
an identity that we insert inside them, to holy I can do high ticket. It's easy. It's
Absolutely.
nothing, but it was my brain's fault that I thought it couldn't do it. It was my mistake that I couldn't do it. But now
Mm,
I can do it. So we really go into identity level shifts rather than belief shifts, because you
mm.
can shift their belief and the next day something else comes and it's again shifted, it's again messed up, right?
Right.
But we really
Right.
go to the core of the identity, because buying a high ticket is a decision. It's a big decision that they have to take, right? It's
Mm,
not easy for anyone to like throw 2 lakhs or 5 lakhs out of their pockets easily. And at least when they doubt themselves, 80% of the sales are lost when people doubt themselves. And
mm.
that's the big portion, right? You can take care of
Right.
all the other things, but they doubt themselves. I don't think I can do it. I'm not worth it. I can't charge high ticket. I'm from a village. How can I do it? All these things. And I'm not saying like something is wrong here, but it's the way you shift the identities that'll at the end ease up the sale for you,
Mm,
right? So I don't believe in objection handling. I believe in pre-handling the objections, so I don't get the objections at all.
right.
So that's what we do
Wow.
over these 3 days and stuff.
Oh, wow, I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing all of that, Shubh. I mean, that is really deep. Myron Golden talks about the four levels of learnings, and identity is the highest level that you have to be teaching from, right? And essence, that is very similar to essence, right? Teaching from the essence of every single thing. So, I mean, I love that you're so deep into this. I mean, congratulations, man. You
Yeah,
are
I
where I
know.
want to be in a few years. So, I mean, that is amazing.
Yeah, man, of course. I just like I'm just too much into persuasions and sales
Persuasion,
and all these things. Yeah, it's crazy. The whole art of influence. It's magic.
influence. Right, absolutely. It's magic. And you have been doing challenges for a while now. So, from the beginning, from the first challenge you did versus the last one, what were the changes that you have seen? And where do you think the challenge industry is moving towards in the future? Now that almost everybody is trying to do a challenge.
Yeah, marketers ruin everything, but I'm not really afraid of that, because there's one thing to host a challenge and another thing to pull sales out of that.
Right.
So there, if you in any given market, if you see there's just 3% of the audience who's ready to buy anything. They're ready to
Mm,
test, they're ready to throw money and stuff. But what about the rest 97%? Yes, you'll
right.
do a challenge. Yes, you might get a couple of buyers. Yes, you might make some money. But once you tap that, what next? So the really room will be open to the people who are really good at their craft, people
Right.
who can really show them that they are the best, people who can help them. And again, it comes down to four things, right? The trust, the four trust things that we
That's
shared.
like it.
um, so like, yeah, it comes down to that, right? So everyone can do challenges, but not everyone will succeed. Two people can have the same challenge, same words, same offers, but it'll still won't work, because certainty, the way you think, the way your identity is there, the way you
Right.
believe in yourself, the mindset that you carry, commission
Mm,
breath, it all transfers to the audience that you're hosting to or that you're talking to, right? So
right.
yeah, I mean, a million people can do challenges, but again, it's not a lot of people will get results, because they're not willing to become really good at the art. Like for me, it's been like almost 5 years in this whole marketing and sales space, and I still like learn every day. Like
Right.
I buy courses like it's like a crazy allergy to me and stuff. I just hop on a mastermind like it's a crazy allergy to me, because I just want to know everything. Like I want to learn from the best of best people. And so yeah, people can host challenges, but there's one thing to host a challenge versus the another thing to actually pull sales out of it. Because unless you don't pull sales, it's not worth it. You'll just keep hopping between the next new thing, the next cool thing, the next new
Exactly.
thing, or
Absolutely.
AI or whatever. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I've seen this happen a lot where people fall into this shiny object syndrome, and they are always like, at the beginning, there was this call thing was very good and new, and this were in India, and everybody started doing the call ads, and they would book in calls and they would sell the services. But then this came in and that came in, and now everybody's doing webinars. So I mean, I absolutely relate with you and what you're saying. So, Shubh, what would be the one thing that you would want to say to people who are doing challenges that you have learned from the past 30 challenges that you would want everybody to follow and be aligned with when they are trying to do a 5-day challenge?
Yeah, don't really be techie and stuff. Just go as minimal as you can, and don't try to go fancy with your ads and funnels. Really, it comes down to easy, simple to implementable things, right? It comes down to getting the right people in,
Hmm.
talking the right message, giving the right offer. It's That's it. You do not want to complex it more, and I would say focus more on talking, like, and showing them, rather
Hmm.
than just like doing the same old boring stuff and tricking them into buying. So if
Right.
you do that, that's why your conversion is like 3%, 5% and stuff. Like we we have days where people 35, 40% of the room and stuff. It's not because like I'm the best speaker in the world. It's because I exactly talk to them what they want to listen, what they want to hear, right?
Hmm.
I destroy their beliefs, I destroy their identity, I insert a new identity inside them. So now they can start seeing themselves as a new person altogether, and they can feel that shift within. And when I give an offer, for them to be in that new identity and keep feeling
Mm.
the same way, they have to buy the offer.
They have to buy, right,
Have to
right.
go back to their old state, and change is painful, and people don't like change. So a lot of this thing comes down to that and the way you express and stuff. So if I were you, I would just focus on the art of persuasion, because and getting the right people in the art of persuasion. Because honestly, we have had people who don't even buy the offer because of the offer. They're like, I don't care what you sell me, just take my money. Like I've had people just like that. They don't even know what the offer is, but they end up paying, right? And
Mm.
after 1 week, they're like, "Oh, by the way, what's the offer? Tell me," right? So I've had people like that as well. So it's not. So you have to like really focus on like how you communicate. If my favorite quotes of all time, Jim Rohn says this: "If you have something good to say, and if you say it
Mm.
well, become rich." Right. So
Wow.
I'd focus on that. If I were to start again, just two things: getting the right people in, talking the right words, and having the right offer. Simple.
Right. Wow. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all of that, Shub. I mean, I had heard about that Jim Rohn's code before, and it is definitely a life changing code. So there's this thing that we do in every podcast episode of ours where we talk numbers. So if you're comfortable with sharing a few numbers, then we could do a rapid fire, and we could talk about numbers if you're okay.
I'm okay all day long. My clients are not, but like jitna I can share, I'll be more than happy to
Sure.
share.
Just about you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah.
All right. So how many challenges have you done so far till date?
Personally, I think seven or so, six, seven or so.
Okay. And how many people have raised in each challenge of yours?
Oh man, such a tough math. Thousands, man, thousands. But yeah, I'm not really
Thousand.
sure the exact number, but thousands, multiple thousands. Yeah.
Okay. And what was the lowest revenue that you have made from a challenge?
Oh, we had a challenge that really didn't go well, because tech issues, audience issues, and all these stuff. Because I was just like testing too many things inside one challenge, so
Mm-hmm.
that was a big mistake. I think like we ended up just making like 4.55 lakhs out of it. Spent like 2.5 on ads. We ended up just making like 4.5 or 5 or something back. Yeah,
Okay.
that
Okay.
was the worst one.
That was the worst one. Come on. There will be people out there who would want to make 4.5 or 5 lakh rupees in just 5 days by doing a
Yeah, but
challenge.
we had
So,
like benchmarks that are like really
right.
high. Comparing to those in my average numbers, this was like not to the point. So this was the
Right.
worst one we had. Yeah.
Awesome. So, what was the highest revenue you have ever made from a challenge?
I think we did like we spent like 2 lakhs on ads and we made like 28 lakhs or something in a day or something.
Wow, that's 40x. That's amazing.
I know.
And how much money have you made in total from all of your challenges that you have done from yourself or your clients?
Ooh, think 1.6 plus crores till now.
1.6 plus crores.
Yeah,
Okay, awesome. Awesome. Really appreciate you, Shub. It's been an honor to host you today. And lastly, I would just like to ask you, like, what would you say to someone who is on the fence of thinking about doing a 5-day challenge, but they're just not going ahead and doing it?
just do it. Just again, put up a simple page, and just go live, and just even if you have 5 people and just talk to them, just do it. And a lot of people where they messes, they don't even know what the audience wants. A lot of people are not willing to even sit down and properly research what are the problems in their market, what are the big desires in the market, and all these things.
Mhm.
So really just do it. Don't try to achieve perfection. Again, we have multiple clients who are just nailing it, right, or just crushing it completely. And they just like, few people do it very well in the first time, few people don't, because again, it's fine, it just takes a little bit of time to like really push through. Um, and I just tell people like, it's hard. Okay, it's
Mhm.
nothing is easy. You're not going to push button and make money at the end. You need to really know how to speak well. You really need to like know a couple of ingredients that are very important. That's where you kind of go and hire coaches who have done it, and that's where you like really take pieces from them that would take you years to figure out by yourself. Just do
Mhm.
it. Yeah, that's the only thing.
Wow, really appreciate you, Shub, for being here over here with us on this podcast. I'm sure a lot of people have learned a lot. Me personally, I have learned a lot from you as well. So I'll definitely try to bring you on again if you would want to, and we would do a part two where we dive in even deeper.
Of
Okay.
course, I'd love to.
All right. Thank you so much, Shub. Thank you so much for coming in, and we are going to see you on the next one.
Thanks, man.
All right, so with that, we come to an end of this episode. If you liked it, then go ahead and share your best takeaways in the comments. Would love to see what you guys took out from this podcast episode. And at the same time, what would you be doing if you were in place where you were just starting out with doing challenges, but you weren't sure if your messaging is not matching on ads, and then you're not right people are coming inside of your challenge? What would you do? Go ahead and put it in the comments. And I have a surprise for you in the description. Go ahead and check it out. That will help you launch 6-figure challenges, even if you're just starting out. Okay. So that will be all. Keep creating for a change, and I'm going to see you on the next one.